experienced eventually. Everybody who plays any Zelda game, everybody who plays any Super Nintendo game. I'm not going to say it's the best speed game, but it's certainly up there. It should be part of every major speedrunner's repertoire. But certainly, don't mean to focus solely on TGH. BambooShadow, also a highly accomplished runner, and we expect to see great things from both runners today, and are certainly hoping for a competitive race. However, this has to come about. Not that we're hoping for anything bad to come to the runner with the better PB, but we just want to see a close race in general. Please do. I'm on a headset that I've never used before because I could not use it on my old laptop, and I can use it on my new laptop. So please let me know if you can hear me, how I'm coming through. Very eager to see how this does compared to my old laptop microphone and my webcam microphone. Does sound like somebody has stream alerts enabled, but that's no problem. And we see Bamboo just getting poked a little bit there. Slightly unfortunate, but still major sink. In Escape, we're not going to expect to see much of a gap develop. There are some movement things and some reaction things. We definitely saw BambooShadow there with a bad pattern on the green guards and not necessarily reacting to it in quite the best way either. Not quite picking up his key there. So, you know, as I said, Bamboo is a very accomplished runner. I would say we're seeing some nerves here from Bamboo that will not keep up. I would say that in Bamboo's position, what we really need to see is we need to see Bamboo playing like he's got nothing to lose, right? The person, you know, the person who had the expectation of winning, the person with the higher PB, when you're the person with the lower PB, you need to put the nerves on the other person, right? You got to play loose. You got to play free. You got to play like you have nothing to demonstrate. Bamboo has already justified his place in the tournament. Whereas there's a lot of expectations put on TGH. In fact, I would bet that there are even some people who have picked TGH to win this entire tournament. We do see a bad guard RNG from TGH there. And a good 8 slash. Then we see the pop +4 from Bamboo. And Bamboo ending up with a 258 key. I didn't quite see what key TGH got there. But we'll see in just a few seconds what the gap is. It looks like a gap of about 2.5 seconds so far. This is the most nothing happening sequence in all of Escape even. But little movement things, trying not to bump up against that statue too much. You did see Bamboo switch very quickly between left and then down and then left again. Both of them having to boomerang some of these guards. Bamboo hitting a guard as well, but maybe getting boosted a little bit. The damage boost there does save just a couple frames over simply walking. If you were to do a task of this game, I believe you would try to integrate a few damage boosts into the Escape Eastern sequence. But of course you can't do too many because, you know, you've only got 3 hearts at this point. And after this sequence, damage boosts won't matter. because you will have the Pegasus boost. Yeah, Japanese version is due to both glitches and faster text. So 503 to 506. And we're seeing just pretty solid escapes. Probably a low 5.5x from TGH and a mid 5.5x from Bamboo. Right now, I would guess something like 552 versus 555, maybe 551 versus 554. And then after that, we're going to be off walking to Eastern. No real problems for either racer so far. Neither has grabbed any of the blue rupee drops that they've been getting either. I guess that was probably a 550 actually for TGH. And that 555 for BambooShadow. So let me just explain what's going on in the plot of this game. So Link wakes up and sees his uncle has left the house and goes and finds his uncle, and it turns out that his uncle has died. And so Link goes to find the princess who is trying to escape the castle, and they go and talk to this magician, and the magician says, what you need to do is you need to take a doll of your uncle to the top of Turtle Rock, and if you take this doll there, he will be reincarnated. But you need to do it in the past, so we're going to see them traveling through time. That's what's called a link to the past. Both of them having a little bit of problems here with these Octoroks and statues and things, just having to do a few extra slashes, maybe taking a little extra damage. Hopefully everybody knows what game I'm referencing there. This game, obviously. Would be nice to see the items. That's going to be my new Tinder pickup line. Would be nice to see the items. So in this early part of the game, we're trying to do just a few things. We are thinking about our arrow count. We're thinking about our rupee count. Kiddly, this is a family-friendly stream. I would happily answer you that in a private conversation. We do see TGH pumping along this bridge, but we're not going to talk about pumping. Just, I've already talked about pumping so many times. We're seeing the damage boost to get through and touch that button without killing all the enemies. Killing all the enemies is what's intended. We did see both players get 2 safeties. First of all, they got the Sanctuary Heart, and second of all, they got an extra 5 arrows. on the right of this room. The minimum you need is the 10 arrows on the left of the room. TGH spending a little bit of time to kill that Popo, but it was in his way. Usually you can get around that Popo. I do see sometimes people killing it when there is a way around it that's pretty quick, but in that case I think it was pretty much required. Gets past this pattern on the cannonballs. I think that required some pumping to get past, so good on him. Still no rupees for the man of the hour, and a little bit of strange room there for BambooShadow. Oh, and what a shame. BambooShadow wasting this cycle here. TGH very solid, 1036 with Sankar and 5 arrows. It's beautiful. It looks like BambooShadow will have a 10-4X in here as well. Maybe a 1048, or maybe just 1049. So the difference between these two players is around 12 seconds. That's around the amount of time it takes to get through the text on this pendant cutscene. Forwards Breaker, my understanding is that both players are on console. As players of this caliber almost always are. This game is much more difficult on emulator. Personally, when I switched to console, it took a little while for me to transition because I had also been playing on keyboard. Now that's awful. But once I switched, I basically went from a 130 to a 127. And what I'll tell you is that this was back in 2014 and then early 2015, so 3 minutes back then were a big deal. The game has changed somewhat, not as big a deal anymore. We saw some maybe slightly different movement there from BambooShadow. Not quite, I didn't quite catch it, so I'm not 100% sure. And we're seeing our super speeds. Super speed is well, we're seeing our spin speeds. So spin speed is a species of super speed. Super speed happens when you hit the dash button and then on the same frame you use an item and it kind of stores your dash speed. With spin speed, it's actually the next frame that you release a spin, but it's still the same idea of an event happening at the same time as the dash, and the game kind of forgetting that you have let go of the dash button and remembering the speed. It's one of those Japanese 1.0 only glitches. We did see TGH missing each spin speed once. So perhaps some nerves on his side as well, or perhaps just a slight execution error. Not every mistake is due to nerves, because we do not always play perfectly when we are not nervous. You're just going to see some very precise dashes getting through all these screens. Shyvox, the spin speed is the same as dashing. The real advantage of spin speed is that you can use it diagonally, or you can change cardinal directions while you have it. And we have seen BambooShadow close this gap just a little bit. I believe that's from the missed spin speeds on TGH's side. So we'll continue to look for what's going on between these two racers. We do see that TGH has a better arrow count. We've got 14. Oh, no, I forgot about that arrow pot. We've got 14 to 13. Both players using a pretty simple strat to get this key. I believe it was Blunt Bunny who came up with this strat, sort of a compromise between two other strats that is, you know, as easy as the easy strat and as fast as the fast strat, basically. TGH missing that red drop, unfortunately, but no fast way to get it. He does get good RNG on those cannonballs. He did not get knocked to the side. Same thing for BambooShadow. This is an RNG that can lose you a second or two. Now we're getting our arrow count up there and just dashing through this whole palace. We're going to pick up 2 more pots here, and TGH will be at almost full arrows, as will BambooShadow. We're going to use those arrows on the boss Mollis. And I gotta say, a lot of people don't like picking up drops, but if you're going to spend the time picking up that $5 pot, you could have taken just a few, just maybe 1 second to pick up that 20 rupee drop. That's my opinion. Just, putting that out there, not a huge deal. We're going to see one of the riskier spin speeds here, but actually saves more time than it looks like it would. And people use that menu to buffer so that they don't fall off. When you're in the spin speed state, you get an automatic quick hop. A quick hop is when you hit A when you're touching a ledge, so to fall off of it. So it's very dangerous, very possible to just fall off there. Now this room, a very nice pattern for TGH, not quite the optimal pattern. Also gets another 5 rupees. Let's see how Bamboo's pattern goes. No, very bad pattern for Bamboo, but he deals with it very well. Just using that dash to kill that last Popo. That shows you that, this is a game where there's a ton of RNG, but the effect that the RNG has on you is up to you. And it's really a good lesson for life. In your life, you're going to have a lot of randomness, but you need to know how to deal with it. You need to deal with it in a healthy way and keep your wits about you, and not feel that you're being victimized by the world around you. Now, TGH on Landmo now gets 3.5 hits, let's call it, in the first cycle. Four and a half of the second cycle does kill that. And very nice getting that 3 cycle. Didn't look at the start like it was going to be an excellent fight, but the second and third cycles were just very calm, very smart, very intelligent play. BambooShadow almost getting a nice fight there, just taking a few extra seconds to get this last one, and then the unfortunate short hop, and it's just going to take 1 more arrow there. With those short hops, sometimes you can only get just 1 arrow per cycle. Very unfortunate. TGH does get hit here doing this dash. I don't really know. I don't do that strat. I don't know if he went too low or stopped too high there exactly. We are going to see him run over to these fake flippers. This is another glitch that involves doing 2 things at the same time here. We're going to be falling in the water and scrolling the screen at the same time. Already down 1.5 hearts TGH, but we know that he can handle it. He does have that Sankharp, very good safety for a race. I believe he does not get it in most of his runs. That tells you that he is serious about this tournament, and I know that TGH is somebody who is competitive, who takes tournaments seriously. Is down to 4 hearts. Now the difference between 4 hearts and 4.5 hearts, most things at this point are going to do exactly 1 heart of damage, so BambooShadow practically still at full health. We can think about it that way. They are both coming up on this Death Mountain sequence where the falling cabbages or falling rocks, if you prefer the geological interpretation, can do a lot of damage, as well as these. We saw TGH slashing left just to make sure that he didn't get caught by the squirrel. So TGH doing a lot of little things here, not wasting much time, but just a lot of little things to make sure that these little RNGs are not going to hurt him. He does still only have these 3 hearts, making his way up the mountain. BambooShadow getting his mirror as well, and we have to think about the squirrel here that's just looking straight at him. But the squirrel gets stuck in the door, and BambooShadow is past it. Both have made it through this chancy segment quite well. TGH now going into Hera. He's going to get this key, then he's going to get that big key, then he's going to this other place. He's starting to use the mirror. to make your way around dungeons here. TGH down to do hearts. We're just going to have to see what sorts of decisions he makes, whether he gets safety hearts or possibly does a death warp. You can tell he's just a little bit frazzled. All respect to TGH. I completely idolize the guy. He's an incredible gamer. But maybe just slightly trying to make a decision about what to do in the future and missed that boomerang in the lobby that we now see BambooShadow doing. And BambooShadow actually gets the same exact bonk. That's pretty funny to me, but probably not to either of them. And very good boomerang dashes from both of them. TGH making his way around those skeletons nicely, and we see that this gap is still there, with BambooShadow yet to get the big key. A very, very respectable time from TGH, going upstairs at 20:55 here. I do wish he had picked up those arrows. Love to see that arrow drop there personally. And I love to equip myself through drops rather than pots. For some reason, it just feels to me like I'm more emotionally connected with a specific run when the specific drops make a difference to what I'm doing in that run. Very unfortunate, more health loss from TGH. I have this bad habit of remarking on the things that go on to be important. Oh, and he misses, he tries to do this rando inspired bomb jump strat, but misses it. Well, now he gets it. Well, so he's through that. There's another red rupee drop that is skipped that could have been picked up. And we've got just the one heart from TGH. More traditional bomb jump setup from Bamboo with that bonk that helps him get through. We did see TGH getting that switch. I had forgotten about that, and now it's back up to 4 hearts. So BambooShadow has closed the gap back up a bit with this health and bomb stuff, and BambooShadow has just one extra bomb. Not going to make an enormous difference, but perhaps we'll see TGH pick up an extra in Palace of Darkness or Thieves Town. We see TGH getting through this fight very nicely, a nice dash at the end to end it. Time has suffered a little bit from the end of this Hera. Got about a 22:40 when he was on pace for probably a bit better before that stuff with the bomb jump. But BambooShadow, unfortunately, did fall on this fight to Moldorm, and is now playing it quite safe with these spins. Moldorm is camping the left side, unfortunately. That's not where we like to see our Moldorm. We like to see our Moldorm out in the open, around where he is now. Yeah, that's a perfect way for the fight to end. Once he gets behind that left thing, see, you'd like to be, in my opinion, I don't know if this is actually, maybe this is just a superstition on my part, but I believe you prefer to be dashing left to right rather than up down on that fight. Same thing with Landmolus, you prefer to be shooting your arrows left to right rather than up down. And so when Moldorm is on the left, your dashes can only be up down, and that makes for a much rougher fight. TGH altering slightly, I believe, the strat he uses to do these tree rupees because he was low on rupees. Does kill the little bush guy, now 2 more, and that's enough for his red rupees. Maybe, no, he needs 1 more kill. He'll kill this bird on the way back out. BambooShadow doing something like what is now the commonly preferred strat at top levels for those tree rupees, but went a little slower, I think because he also had to pick up some extra rupees. As I said, both players skipping those red rupees. All these little things make a difference, But certainly the big difference right now is that fall to Moldarm. BambooShadow perhaps had just gotten a little nervous after closing the gap here. There's nothing worse than seeing that you're doing well only to immediately mess up because of your reaction to that success. These red rupees going to take TGH right into the sweet spot. You need 104 at this point. You're going to get 6 more in the Circle of Pots room in Aghanim's Tower. Yes, Mike, the viewer, he's missing that bomb because he figured he was messing up the bomb jump at first. He will, I expect, maybe he just won't worry about it. Maybe he'll get an extra bomb in Palace of Darkness or in Thieves Town. If he does the picking up 2 pots on the bridge in Palace of Darkness and gets the Thieves Town bomb, that'll bring him back to a normal amount. I believe most runners do only one of those 2. We see a very nice Pooey Gold Knights, and then we see the old downtime death strat for the prize pack manipulation. This prize pack manipulation is that you dash through these guards to kill them. When you dash through an enemy, it never drops anything, and this is going to delay a fairy and big magic drop that we really like to see in Turtle Rock, which is 45 minutes from now. So that tells you how well structured this run is. Little unfortunate from BambooShadow. Does not get the Pooey Knights strat and has to use a spin here and does lose his fairy. So we will watch for that 45 minutes from now in Turtle Rock. So there you saw that. Just a funny thing about that room is worse if you have beams, because your beams alert the guards to your presence. Aghanim's Tower is underrated in difficulty because it, for a lot of people it doesn't have its own split. And it's hard to tell when you're doing it well because the split obviously are the main variable in the time. TGH just having a few missteps near the end of the Aghanim's Tower here. Whereas BambooShadow had a few. In the beginning, you got to see the right way to do that room that BambooShadow did just then, where you kill the guard, and then you get the key dash from the bottom of the room. Also a better room with those red guards with the bow. And a better room here, getting the double spin. Oh, but then a little fractious, questionable guy. And a very nice 2 blue balls there for TGH. He's going to be very happy about that. All in all, certainly not his best Light World, but he's going to be thrilled with the way this race has developed. A good blue ball count. His opponent falling at Moldarm. That very nice Landmo fight. Probably the highlight, skill-wise, of both races so far. And we do see BambooShadow, I believe, also with a low count. There are also 2 blue balls, I believe. So excellent. Great. We must be very happy to see both of these runners not getting screwed over by blue balls. Around a 30-second difference right now, I believe. That is maybe around the 10-second difference that we saw coming out of Landmo, plus around well, actually, I don't even know. I don't know what differences we're seeing. I don't know. You know, sometimes I don't even know what's going on right in front of my nose. TGH doing a nice little dance there, monkeying around just a little bit. And the monkey hopping on the thing at 30.53. That's very nice. A sub 31 entrance to Palace of Darkness is very respectable. And 32 seconds is what it ended up being on this Palace of Darkness entrance difference. Zero rushing, nice bufferless Kiki. I didn't even know that people buffered Kiki. We do see BambooShadow doing a slightly different strat there in that room for that key. I don't know if that is faster with the dash. Maybe somebody in chat will tell me. My understanding is that dashing is not the right thing to do in that room. We are seeing TGH make his way over to the big key. There's just a lot of keys in this dungeon. Anybody who has watched Key Sanity will understand the number of keys are very high here compared to every other dungeon. So TGH being very safe and buffering that hammer jump. I guess it with just a few extra buffers. We did see him getting both bombs there, so he's going to be at a pretty healthy count. And we did see the heart falling from that prize pack that the mini Helma is in, meaning that in Turtle Rock, the fairy will be right there. BambooShadow, unfortunately, also dropping the magic and also messing up the thingy. Yeah, BambooShadow, not going to be quite happy about that. Bamboo is holding it together pretty well, I would say, but just if, I was thinking at the beginning that with a 2-minute difference between PBs, really, there's a lot of major mistakes where if they happened, TGH would still be competitive in the end. But actually, we see that we're seeing not major, but kind of medium-sized mistakes from Bamboo here, rather than from the other side. The Moldorm fall, not a middle hole fall, and not at the end of the fight, but still a fall. And the fall there on that bomb jump is going to put Bamboo further in the hole. We do see an unfortunate turtle party here from TGH. He ends up dealing with it pretty okay. But just a few questions about that. BambooShadow re-upping on arrows. He did have the one for this guy, and personally, I don't like to stop my dash in that room. There's plenty of other places for arrows. We do see that wall pole. I don't think this does anything, but it is funny looking. And here on Helma King, we need 17 pieces of damage on the skull, and then 4 pieces of damage on the head, where a slash does a half a piece of damage. And he makes it through just fine. You're seeing that Sanctuary Heart doing a lot of work. Fiesta de la Tortugas, exactly, except I don't believe that Tortuga actually means turtle or tortoise. I thought Tortuga was a place from Pirates of the Caribbean, or maybe from the actual Caribbean. Now we're seeing Bamboo entering this fight. Getting bad thing. But you will see him canceled, yes. And Bamboo showing just how hard it is sometimes to get these hammer hits in. Not a huge hitbox. Well, my Spanish knowledge is coming under... There's a Spanish Inquisition about how much Spanish I know here. Yeah, I thought the joke was just that Emma put Uga on everything Spanish, but maybe the original usage of that was correct. So, BambooShadow had a safer fight, but TGH had a faster fight. That's just going to further cement TGH's lead. I think the difference now is about at least a minute at this point. And we're going to see TGH make his way over to Thieves Town and also pick up the flute when he does so. A funny thing is that the only reason that the flute is actually 100% required is to get to Misery Mire. In glitch categories, you can clip out of bounds to get into Misery Mire and you don't pick up the flute at all. There was a huge debate, the category called Yuzuhara's Bottle Adventure, about whether we would end up picking the flute. I actually forget what we do in that category, because the Bottle Adventure is that you can use a bottle like a flute on the overworld. It was such a huge glitch when found, but ended up that nobody cared that much about it. Speaking of Siesta of the Turtles, this is a great time for a little siesta for all of us as well, with all this overworld movement and cutscenes. So a strat there that I personally find very funny, just using that you're using your menu to get to the hammer just to make sure that you spend as little time on that ladder as possible. The ladders, of course, I never explained this before, but the ladders are necessary to activate the spin speed glitches. And that goes both for the spin dashes and the other super speeds, the other item dash super speeds. That's you got it right, X10 Power. We are not in randomizer tournament. That is why it says no major glitches tournament on the top there. Now, Thieves Town, you know, easy dungeon. Perhaps I have died there in half of my tournament races so far, but perhaps not. We'll never know. Now, BambooShadow losing a little bit of time going around the left there. I mean, the right. I don't even know my left from my right. TGH already down 2 hearts. They didn't quite see how that happened. I believe it was to maybe the Zazik, those little horse head things. Well, big, really big horse head things. Or maybe he got hit twice by a thingy. Very beautiful hellway there. TGH got the pixel and then got the RNG. So you need to dash to, it's just 1 pixel. It's a kind of a frame rule, a bit like Key Dash, where but also not a bit like Key Dash, actually. Now that I think of it, it's not anything like Key Dash, but don't worry about that. Yeah, basically there's only 1 pixel where if you dash through, you won't be touching the spikes on either side. Now, a good way to get it, a lot of people do this wrong and try to walk over to it because they figure walking is, yes, Bamboo got those arrows. Okay, I'm rooting for Bamboo now. Let's go, Bamboo. Let's do it. I forget what I was talking about. I'm just going to follow the run and not try to go back to it. TGH not picking up another bomb. We do see a bomb difference, but he has also already bombed the floor. I think 5 is enough here, especially because TGH obviously is a very accomplished hoverer, and if he makes it to Ice Palace bomb jump and runs out of bombs, he will simply hover. Not quite as good luck on Bamboo's side on the hellway, but makes it through. Has more bombs, has more arrows, has the same amount of health. Now, everybody knows what we say about the blind fight. What do we say? Chat? Tell me what we say about the blind fight. What is it? It's not scary. I would never die on that fight on PB pace in my previous race in this tournament. TGH really making very good time. Bamboo kind of hot on his heels, but let's not overstate the issue. TGH looks like he had about a 42-40 crystal catch, and Bamboo is not going to be quite there. We're going to see a high 43 from Bamboo here if everything goes right. Let's take a look at this fight as TGH picks up some money. I'm just a little bit of trouble getting that last hit in, but no worries. Still followed the script. And what did I say? I said a high 43, and it's 43.59. Runner Watcher. It's almost like you've been watching this game for over 5 years and know exactly how long every single thing in this game takes. How are you so numerical, Runner Watcher? That's just incredible. Okay, now we are getting our Tempered Sword. Bamboo taking just a little bit of explosion there. Number watcher, yes, that is my new identity. In New York, there's a big sign where you can watch the national debt go up and down. Wonder if I could stream that one day. Yes, we did see TGH getting his fence dash. I believe fence dash is a meme, and I don't encourage memes. Now TGH does get a bomb drop, and we'll make up that bomb that we lost in Hera. Pushes the statue over to the left of the center there. For that statue, we like to be right-wing. We like to be conservative or even reactionary with where that statue ends up. But TGH giving us a little left-wing statue, a Bernie statue, and is now doing another bomb jump of the same type here. We're seeing TGH just really adopting those rando-inspired bomb jumps. I don't know what the name for them is. I just think of them as rando bomb jumps because they're what people used so much in rando. One of the actual gameplay innovations that rando runners came up with, so props to them. Another great innovation they came up with is saying vanilla everything. And already some trouble in that same room from Bamboo. Gets that same bomb drum. But you saw a little extra A press and hitting the... stepping over the thing by accident. Meanwhile, just a beautiful mummy hellway from TGH. And he's going to be keeping the 2 hearts that he lost doing that bomb jump. That's all he's lost all split, and he's going to go right into this Mothula fight. Oh, and Mothula just... good start to the fight, but Mothula trolling a lot now. But it's over. I mean, this is a fight where Mothula can troll you for 10 seconds. And it feels really horrible because there's all this stuff going on and you don't know what to do. But then you kill Mothula and you're like, well, okay. That was 10 seconds, but, you know... time is very relative. 10 seconds can go by and... it can completely destroy your speedrun, or 10 seconds can go by and you're staring at a window and you forgot what you are. And, you know, if you're looking into the right person's eyes, 10 seconds can go by and the entire meaning of life is found in those 10 seconds. So, really when we're speedrunning, what we're doing is we're investigating the very nature of time, the metaphysics and ontology of time. And that means that we're investigating the very fundamental basis of human experience. You know, Kant called time and space the transcendental categories of apperception, meaning that we don't perceive space and time, but they come before perception, but they're still part of the human mind. They're structured by the human mind. So it may be that we humans invent time as a way to perceive things, and that it's not out there in nature. Now we do see BambooShadow getting that first bonk hit. A little bit of a rough fight for him as well, just a lot of spike cancels. TGH forgetting what to do on that screen perhaps. Just lost in time, or lost there in space. Well, Doc Railgun, I hope you enjoyed the 10 seconds that you spent here. So TGH, you saw him doing that bonk. That puts him in the right place for the quick warp. The quick warp is just a warp that lasts, I believe, 32 frames, which is a little over half a second. Maybe it's 34. Now we're going to get our flippers. The question, why is Bamboo so far behind? There was a number of things that were kind of medium-sized. Bamboo had a worse Landmo fight. He missed the cycle on the red guards in Eastern. He fell on Moldarm, and he fell on a Hammer Jump and had a slower Helma fight. And messed up a little bit on Blind and missed Hellway. So just, if you add all things up, you've got about the gap between them. But not quite the entire gap, because TGH has also shown us that 125 level movement. And Bamboo's has just been a little less crispy. You saw that in the beginning of Escape into Eastern with a 550 from TGH versus a 555 from Bamboo. Now we're coming up on Ice Palace. Ice Palace is a very difficult when you're around a beginning to a medium runner. Ice Palace, you're just trying to get through it. There's so many things that can really destroy you here, especially the Ice Palace bomb jump and Cold Stare, the final boss. Every room has a little execution in it. And there's also a lot of RNG, especially with the way some of these buzz blobs can move. And then when you get into the upper levels where TGH is, and around where Bamboo is, you start being able to get through it without worrying so much, and then you're really trying to just speed through it incredibly quickly. Ice Palace is a place where the difference between a top runner and a mid-level runner, I think, is very palpable. My own Ice Palace is ugly, just ugly, ugly. TGH not getting an extra bomb there. We did see that bomb count. We talked about that after Hera. Low bomb count. He will have only one bomb to do this bomb jump, or perhaps he will hover. But no, we see a perfect bomb jump. And TGH will probably pick up 2 bombs in Swamp the very next split. He does need 2 bombs in the Mire split, one to get the Ice Rod and another to get through a bombable door. Now gets all 5 of those Pengators at the same time. That's exactly the way you want it. And we're going to see TGH coming in on Cold Stare right as BambooShadow makes his way to the, what is it, B3? You know, the negative 3rd floor of this building that we call the Ice Palace. BambooShadow having so many bombs, whereas TGH ran out. We do see a little bit of a weird, maybe he was spamming the Fire Rod and didn't get it in time, but regardless, a beautiful fight. Classic, gets Cold Stare trapped in the corner and just kills it. BambooShadow a little low on health. BambooShadow is the one we have to worry about now in this Ice Palace. And this really shows what we were talking about, where... What? BambooShadow felt he was on the wrong pixel there and just wanted to completely reset the room. And does get it the second time. Just a little bit of time lost for that reset, but often you know, you practice the room in a certain way, and when you mess up, it can be very difficult to say, what do I do now in this situation where I'm in the middle of all these things going on? And sometimes it's best to just say, I want to go back to the beginning. I want everything to be like it was in practice. That's what Bamboo did, and it worked, so props to him. Awareness, you know, a lot of situational awareness in this game is kind of self-awareness. It has to do with knowing what am I capable of in this moment? What is the right thing to do in this moment to get myself out of this situation? In speedruns, you're always getting in and out of situations. You have a bomb situation and an arrow situation, a health situation, a magic situation. You're doing all the things you practice, but also at the same time, you're thinking about these situations. And for me, the situations are a big part of what makes it fun. So props to BambooShadow. We're going to see him coming up on Coldster now. And just the same exact fight. Beautiful fight from both of them. No complaints at all from that fight. I like that. Existential John Madden. What they're going to need to do, if they want to win this race, they're going to have to hit some enemies. Link to the Past is about hitting enemies and running into the next room. We do see that first bomb of the 2 that TGH will pick up in this dungeon. He will also pick up probably 2 arrow packs. And then he'll be at 218. He'd like to have at least 20 going into Mire, but I'm sure he'll take the 18. He has been a little low on both bombs and arrows this entire run. And we'll be happy to kind of re-up and reset that. I didn't actually check the times that these 2 players had after ice, but not looking so bad. Both, I think, performing. Neither are on PB pace, but both are certainly on pace to be within a few minutes of their PB. I would say most players of this game, your PB ends up being around 2 minutes behind your best splits, and your average run ends up being around 2 minutes behind your PB. So maybe average run is wrong. Average run that you end up finishing in a context like this. A no reset race kind of context. So certainly if TGH is on 127 pace and Bamboo is on 129 pace, then we can say they're performing quite well. There's not much to say about Swamp Palace. Some people like it, you know. I think people have developed a few things to do and think about, so it's a little less boring than it used to be. And of course there's the Zero Circle Argus that we'll probably see at least TGH attempt, maybe both players attempt. TGH very nicely hitting that bubble as he falls off. so he doesn't get knocked back. That's a very annoying place to get knocked back, by the way. Oof. The bonks. But yeah, Swamp Palace is very calming. I think it's all the water. A girl once told me that humans evolved to feel calm near water because there's always food near water. And so your body tells you can sit down a while and just relax when you're near water because you're not going to be wanting for food the way you would on the plains or in the forests. We do see TGH getting that bomb and that arrow as I predicted. And here we come into the Argus fight. Oh, what a beautiful, just classic Zero cycle. Just perfect. Completely perfect. Yeah, TGH, there's been a few hiccups, but TGH is really showing us what I would say just a great runner. Just really, really fabulous. Really showing us everything just very, very solid. Keeping his head about him, keeping his wits about him, and showing us how to, so far, how to dispatch an incredibly competent 127 runner of the game without breaking much of a sweat. Bamboo also getting that arrow pack. Not necessarily the decision I would have made, but sometimes you just want to be super safe on arrows and bombs and things like that in this sort of situation. TGH going back up Death Mountain, barely evading that cabbage. He's going to get his ether. Bamboo. Little strange Argus fight, getting cornered, losing some health, and losing some more health. And is out of it. I was at a bar the other day where Jaws was playing. TGH thought he was going back to Hera. I had an old PB where I went into Hera during my hair. I had just forgotten what I was doing. The thing about Death Mountain is you go up it so many times, sometimes you forget which stage of the game you're in. A lot of the memory in this game is just, you see something and you know what to do on that screen, but when you see a screen multiple times, it can be very confusing. In my current PB, actually, I did the same thing on Death Mountain, where I went to the left when I was supposed to be going to Turtle Rock. Only lost a few seconds, but TGH getting his Ice Rod, and we're going to see BambooShadow doing the same very, very soon. Now, Mire is a place where this extra heart of Sank Heart will often come in handy. There is... In fact, you are required to lose almost all of the health that you come in with. Most strats on Vitreous, the boss, can lose 7 hearts, and you need to lose 3 hearts in Spike Room, which we saw TGH practicing before this. Bamboo getting bodied, just rocked by these cabbages. It's like that old song, Rock Me Cabbage Day, yes. Now we're going to see this Wizard's room from TGH. This is a beautiful room. the fastest strat, and unfortunately missing that Wizrobe, and doesn't see TGH. A little bit of autopilot there, I would say. A little bit of just losing his focus. Just a small mistake. I find it can actually be quite difficult to focus in these tournament races because so much of what you're thinking about is what's going on with the other runner. You're not on PB pace, so you're not thinking about that. And it can just be kind of hard to keep everything in mind. We are seeing a couple things in this split with TGH going towards Hera and then the mistake in that room. So could this be the place where Bamboo can make up some ground? We will have to see. TGH lighting these torches, using the glitch where he can push the block and use the thingamajigger. And Bamboo entering the warp is about to go do all of this stuff all over again, and you will get to watch that and see if he can save any time. Everybody in chat is being so nice to me today. So, TGH is going to go get his Cane of Samaria. Whereas BambooShadow is doing this Wizrobe room with no beams, just the Fire Rod, and does it beautifully well. A little slow still, getting to that last Popo, but at least he saw where the Popo was. So a little improvement there, to be honest. So this is the room that TGH was practicing. I have to say that it went exactly the way that it did in practice. So very beautiful spike room. And 10 hearts for TGH going downstairs. That is a great number of hearts. Almost an ideal number of hearts. The ideal number of hearts is full hearts, but you know what I'm saying. TGH trying the new non-item dash strat there. It doesn't quite work out. I don't completely understand why you wouldn't just item dash there if you can. I like to do the item dash in the bonk, even though I know it's a little bit slower than switching back and forth. This is a weird one. I've never understood why. I don't think anything else remains affecting the prior room after you leave it the way Fire Rod does. Somebody in chat might be able to explain that. TGH still with these 11 hearts going into Vitreous. Bamboo only, with 10. Bamboo only with 11 and hasn't done the spike room yet. So let's take a look at this Vitreous. And actually, so TGH does the 5-heart Vitreous strat. It's beautifully done. Bamboo getting through that room in a strange way, but I kind of like it, to be honest. And just a beautiful Vitreous from TGH. His boss fights have been incredible, even though there's been maybe a little bit of focus lost in just a few strange places. Really just showing us his best play in a lot of other occasions. Major props to TGH for just really putting on a show for us today. And props to BambooShadow for as well. Going downstairs with 8 hearts, that's a fine number of hearts as well. Does get that quick hop. Does get that heart, so 9 hearts now. Not bad. You also saw in TGH's Vitreous fight, just want to point out, Vitreous never shot any lightning. We call that the zero cycle or the zero lightning. And that's ideal. The lightning takes time, of course. And we're seeing TGH finally going to Death Mountain, going to Turtle Rock, which is where the Carnival Barker can use the doll of his uncle along with the wizard to resurrect his uncle. And this is why we've been going back and forth in time this whole time. Has lost a little bit of health on Death Mountain, but we won't worry too much about it. A little bit of in the Waffle House, we call it. Dashing through that gap, maybe just not confident that he will see the pixel there, but does make it through. Right, doing a little bit more traditional strat, high health strat. Does get the lightning. Does get 2 lightnings. So just a little bit unfortunate that one last eyeball was not quite doing what we had hoped it would, and did not dispatch it quite quickly after we saw that. But still through by BambooShadow. And the gap, I think, has widened to, I would guess, about 2 minutes at this point, but I don't have an exact number for you. Very good sword spam there. And now we're going to see TGH, yes, does the fast strat. You take damage from the first roller, and then you can use that damage to dash straight through the second roller. I don't know, I guess he's just being super safe at this point. He knows he's not on track for a gold split here. He knows he's way ahead. He is going to get very soon the fairy drop and the magic drop. So getting that magic, getting that heart and that big magic was not necessary. But I guess he's figuring it's just a second, so why worry about it? Did have some bad RNG on those chomps, but dealt with it fine. Just, you know, just did it over. Just said it didn't work out the first time, I'm going to do it a second time. Just good to know what situation you're in, as I always say. Good to manage those situations. Life is just a series of situations, you know? It's just one 10-second period after another. Nothing ever lasts for more than 10 seconds. Maybe in 10 seconds you'll be a different person. Maybe you'll live in a different world. Into the past. You need to consciously link yourself with your own past. The world just moves on and on. It's less like a river than like an avalanche. Avalanche. Okay. So we do see TGH with that big key. Had a little bit of a problem getting turned into a bunny, but we won't worry too much about that. Mike the V says 209 difference. That was about what I was figuring. TGH now making his way well into the depths of Turtle Rock. And BambooShadow also getting that nice strat on the rollers. Using the beams here. A lot of people, again, know your situation. Beams can make Turtle Rock a lot better. It's one of the few dungeons where having beams is really great. You'd like to have them at the beginning of Ice and Mire, but really it's Turtle Rock. All through Turtle Rock for, you know, hitting those switches and so forth. Now remember, 45 minutes ago, we said BambooShadow lost his prize pack manipulation. So he's not going to get that fairy. He's not going to get that big magic. So remember, you know, 45 minutes is 270 10-second, and yet we do remember we are linked to the past, and that ultimately is what this game tells us, that our history lives on within us. Now TGH is coming up on Trinex. Bamboo also getting turned into a bunny. The main problem with being a bunny is that you can't dash. But it's funny because bunnies are supposed to be fast, right? Perfectly good Trinex fight from TGH. Did the backdoor strat just fine. And a very solid dungeon from TGH. And I have to say that if I know TGH's play, and I think I do, I don't know why Bamboo got those bombs, by the way. That was a silly pickup. It's not good to have bombs, but that's okay. TGH is probably looking at a 126 pace at the moment. Even with a very comfortable you know, he can comfortably get a 126. He doesn't need to rush it. He doesn't need to risk anything. So he's feeling good about his run, I would guess. Just a few small mistakes in Mire there and the Hera bomb jump. Now we do see Bamboo making his way down to this laser skip. It's not as precise as it might look. You just kind of dash along the top there. Oh, but okay. Had to wait a little, Bamboo did, but makes it past fine. You know, when you're low health, that skip can be a little scary, but in general, it's not so bad. You just do, it's basically exactly how it looks. Bamboo having some trouble with these switches. Now has full 10 bombs. That is an interesting... Even when you want bombs, you don't want 10 bombs. And right now you want 1 bomb. But TGH making his way into the basement of Ganon's tower. And Bamboo having a little bit of trouble with this ice head on Trinex, but gets past it just fine. TGH picking up keys, opening doors, hitting switches, and so forth. And Bamboo is saying, is it really worth it to resurrect my uncle if I must destroy all these beautiful and terrible animals, you know, in all their awesome glory? He's standing inside the body of Trinex as he yells this into the abyss on which Turtle Rock is built. Now we see TGH going into the Ice Armos fight. $20 arrows is about what you need here. You need 18. TGH will pick up another 10-pack after this fight. And not quite doing the fast strat there. Just playing it nice and safe. I approve of just really TGH's whole approach here. Very pragmatic. And it'll just be interesting to see at what point in the tournament do runners like TGH, who are capable of winning the entire event, at what point do they drop the pragmatic approach and start doing, every room, trying to do every room the way they do it in practice to gain every frame will count in those final races. TGH not quite making it through those cannonballs, but with the dash, but certainly not. Down to 9 hearts and 2 arrows, but that's really fine. Shoots his last arrow for no really discernible reason. Just had a little bit of trouble with the conveyor belt in that room. Not one of the easiest rooms in this gauntlet. Makes it out fine in this other room. And is even dashes past that magic, which would have filled him back up after using that fire rod shot, which went straight into that skeleton without even using the recoil. Beautiful one-cycle land mow. 2. BambooShadow, after that arrow pickup, will not need those 10 arrows. We'll see if he skips them. Sometimes people will pick them up with 9, but I do not recommend it in this situation. But we will see. TGH is making beautiful use of that Canis Samaria. It's all these rooms as fast as they can go. Bamboo does re-up on arrows, now has 18, which is, it's legal. What can I say? TGH making it past before the lag from that door closing back up. A little risky there. I kind of thought he would not do that, because if you enter those stairs at the same time that the door closes, you will have to redo the entire Ganon's Tower, because the enemies will despawn and you won't have a way to get out of the tower, because you won't be able to kill Aghanim 2, which would trigger the little birdie to save you. We're seeing our hover here. It's very nice, very beautiful hover, classic TGH hover. As casual as you like. And now we're coming up on Agate 2. Agate 2 is a boss with a lot of RNG. Hard to tell whether that was a 2 or a 1. Sometimes the 2 shots can cancel out. So there's certainly the second phase there was bad. Oh, just having a really rough time with Agate 2 here. And you really don't like to see this after a very expert Ganon's Tower, but okay. Solved it, figured it out. You can tell he's mad though. TGH, despite the fact that he's not on PBE pace, he is still in great shape for this race. Just very, he plays the way he does because he is a perfectionist, and he, it's just upsetting when an RNG element of the game treats you like that. Just a lot of bad luck there. We do see him coming up on Ganon as BambooShadow goes through these Cane of Samaria rooms. And TGH getting a beautiful 1+1. And not getting many warps either. This Ganon is looking very solid. He's going to try for the early spin here, and does turn Ganon blue, so a little bit of a time loss here. And lights the torch with just the fire rod. He's not even going to use the lantern at all. Nice triple to start out with. Going to go for another triple here. Wow, I didn't think he was going to get to that spin. Bamboo not hovering, killing Molder to the intended way. Yet another triple. Oh, so close to a 125 here. Ah, beautiful Ganon fight. Really just a really good run. I mean, with some of the things that happened, you have to say, still getting a low 126. I think this is about 35 seconds off from TGH's PB. Just excellent performance. I'm hoping that we can get him in here for a talk. Now we do see BambooShadow coming in on this Ganon fight. Really a very, I don't want to undersell BambooShadow. BambooShadow is going to get a very solid sub 130 if this Ganon goes well, possibly even a 128. Unfortunately, that happened, but sorry, I removed my hand from my push to talk. This can still be a 129 for Bamboo. And what we saw in the last fight was just Bamboo missed a couple slashes, and the problem was that he went for some extra ones while the bats were flying at him. Bamboo choosing instead to use the lantern to get the torch glitch rather than the fire rod. A little bit safer for sure. But it will use the fire rod for the entire rest of the fight. This is probably the favored safe method for most runners, I would say. It only loses about a second for that menu switch. This is yet another sort of thing that you can make a decision about depending on what your race situation is like. Very good second Ganon fight there from Bamboo. We'll have a very solid 129. All props to Bamboo, you know, had some unfortunate events in there. I would certainly say the Moldern fall and then that Ganon death were the two biggest time losses, but a very solid 129, incredibly respectable time. We're going to try and get an interview with both of these spectacular players right now. Welcome, TGH.
Hi, what's going on?
Oh, sorry, 1 second. I need to... One moment. I can't hear you because of a problem on my end. Okay, let's try that again. Welcome, TGH.
Hello.
Sorry about that.
Can you
Sorry,
hear me?
everybody.
That's okay. That's all right.
So first of all, congratulations. Really
Thank you.
great run there.
Thanks. Oh, I might want to tell Bamboo to join the live channel. He's in setup. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. There we go.
I just dragged you in here. Hopefully that's okay.
Yo, hey, GG
Yo,
Teach.
Bamboo, what's up, dude? GG, dude. Good race.
Yeah, it was actually my best race in the tournament so far.
Congratulations. So I'm not quite sure who to start with. Maybe well, let's start with TGH. A low 126, very low 126. Very close to your PB. Tell us about the run, how you felt about it. You know, highs and lows, anything like that, and how you feel about the tournament going forward.
I don't know. It just felt like a good, solid run. You know, not a ton of mistakes. Harrow was really the only really bad split in the run, in my opinion. I mean, in late game could have been a little bit better. The 5-cycle I got to didn't help, but
You seemed angry about that with the rage slashes.
yeah, the rhythmic rage slashes.
I wanted to ask about because right near the beginning of Mire, like you went the wrong way in Death Mountain, and then it seemed like you hadn't seen the last Popo in the Wizrev's room there. And I was just wondering if you know, if you felt you were losing focus, or if you were thinking about your opponent there.
The reason I went the other way on Death Mountain was to despawn the dead rock on the bridge.
Oh,
there's a dead rock on the bridge, and I went the other way to despawn it and then came back.
That is excellent to know. So that's actually what looked like a lack of focus was actually an incredible presence of mind. So
I mean, it's easy to confuse with me. It's easy to confuse with me.
Well, I think it's.
You've ever seen me run rando?
Yeah.
No, I'm going the wrong way every other decision. But yeah,
it's probably my fault for just trying to keep an eye on both streams. Okay, great. Well, then that's excellent. Did you watch? I mean, obviously you do a lot of rando where you can't watch your opponent, but in this tournament, do you keep an eye on your opponent during the race?
Yeah, I kept an eye on the restream for sure. I do in every race. I think it actually I think it gains me a little bit of an advantage to know where my opponent is, so I can know like how to play things sometimes. But generally, it doesn't really change how I play that much. I just like to see where we are in relation to each other. But,
Certainly seemed like near the end you were, you were content to just do pretty solid strats, kind of high probability strats, and just get through it
I just do the strats I always do, really. Like I always do the slower strat on Ice Armos and GT. I don't really know of any other safer strats that I do. My Gauntlet wasn't good. The one room where I was chasing the horse head around the conveyor.
One room with the conveyor, and if those two horse heads go in different, I mean, they can do anything. That's probably the worst. When it goes badly, that's the worst. Well, okay, so let's talk to. So Bamboo, you said this was your best. So I guess there were two major problems. One was the Ganon death right at the end, and the other one was the Moldorm fall. Maybe would you say that those were the two biggest time losses in your run, Bamboo?
Yeah, like I mean, dropping down at Moldorm, that happened to me a lot lately. I was grinding for like a mid 127 lately, and I luckily got it at Monday and haven't touched the game since then. And then I dropped down again at him. There was just like, a little lack of focus there. And I guess it was actually like the only time when Teach and I were like sort of in sync.
It was interesting. It was interesting because he had just had the mistake with the bomb jump, I guess it was.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were watching. I was speculating that perhaps you were getting nervous because the race had tightened up. That suddenly, you had a lot more response. But maybe you weren't watching that. Maybe you didn't. Did you know that it had tightened up right at that moment? Or
yeah, I was actually hanging out with friends in voice during the race because that sort of actually makes me a little bit calmer than just like racing all on my own, being totally focused on the game, And they were telling me what's happening like on the stream and something, and they were also laughing about my mistakes. So that was always calming me down a little bit. No, but I guess Teach, you also had 2 blue balls, right?
Yeah.
So that was like pretty perfect because like I also had 2 that was like really even. So you can't say anything towards disadvantage
I had a bit of enemy movement RNG that kind of trolled me a little bit throughout, but nothing too major. Nothing with too much of a time loss. Yeah, but like the other struggle was like I was playing Pod really badly. I was like really surprised that I got the first pixel setup bufferless, and then I was like, just not expecting it and only dropped 1 bomb. So that was really unfortunate. And yeah, I had to redo the bomb jump, and after that I was so shaky that I played really safely on what is his name?
Helma. Yeah, your Helma looked like. Whereas TGH, on the other hand, the Helma was probably the scariest moment of the run because TGH was kind of just going for it and had. There was turtle room problem you had, TGH, maybe.
Yeah, one of my turtles went down, and when that happens, it's pretty much, anything can kind of happen at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys were like, "Oh my God, Teach has only 1 heart and he's pushed to the back." But yeah, that's Teach. He just like gets it done.
I thought that there's a lot of I thought that to me personally, TGH, that was very impressive. That there's a lot of top runners who can execute everything perfectly in practice, but then when one of these situations happens in a race where things don't go perfectly, they get very confused. They don't know how to deal with having less bombs or less arrows or less hearts or less magic or whatever the situation happens to be. So props to the presence of mind you had throughout the run.
Thanks. I think that goes a long way towards being consistent. Just like doing strats that I can feel comfortable with and that I can repeat, most of the time, at least like 95% of the time. And when those 95 percentages line up, I guess that makes for a consistent run more often than not.
Absolutely. Well, how do you so you're going to be going on to the 3rd round. I guess this was one of the very first, not the first, but one of the very first 2nd round matches. So how do you feel about the bracket going forward that you're in?
I haven't looked too much at the bracket. I honestly don't even remember who's on the other side of it. Let me take a look.
It's Louis and Void.
Louis and Void?
Louis and Void. They're going to have the other match.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's both, I think, maybe Void has a 126 now. Louis has some kind of 127. So actually should be interesting. I was saying before the match that Louis and Void are both world record holders in other games, which is something they share with you, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be a good match, whoever I end up playing.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Great thing about
It'll
Link
be fun, nonetheless.
Yeah, looking
many
forward to the quarterfinals, TGH versus Dark Mind Demon. This one could be interesting if you make it through the next round, but yeah, we'll see.
I don't want to look
Yeah,
too far ahead. I just want to take it one step at a time.
Yeah. I guess I predicted you will lose against him. You know, you can do the predictions on Challenge, but
Damn, that's rude.
Yeah, I'm sorry, dude.
Jeez.
What the hell, man?
You're trying to be
Jeez.
nice. You're trying to be nice in this interview, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I love you, man, but Eddie is just even sicker than you, and that means a lot.
It is true that Eddie with that low 124, and he's been going really hard. So that'll be, I think that'll be a really good match. I would say in terms of what we saw today and kind of being a racer and being situation aware. There's a few people who do it better than TGH, so we'll just see what happens in that race, and I do think it'll actually be very similar probability for each. So, Bamboo, any closing thoughts? Your tournament is over, but you've impressed all of us. How do you feel about the whole thing?
I was also like glad that I made it through the group phase because my races there were really bad, but I mean. It's not bad to lose against TGH, you know. Like I did it before, I can handle it. And yeah, congrats to Teach. He's a great speedrunner and also a really great person.
Thank you, Bamboo. Same dude.
It's really no shame in losing to Teach. So I enjoyed the time in the tournament, and yeah, best of luck, Teach, for the future matches.
Thanks, man. I don't know how many people know or if it was mentioned at all, but this was kind of a rematch for both of us because Bamboo and I actually raced Zelda Link's Awakening DX at SGDQ 2017. So this was kind of a rematch of sorts. So
oh wow, I really should have mentioned that. I had completely forgotten about that. That would have been a great thing to. How did that race go?
I ended up winning that race. Bamboo got some unfortunate RNG in that race.
Yeah, it's quote unquote RNG. I was like.
You thought the RNG in LADX was bad. I mean, in Link to the Past was bad. Just go speedrun LADX for a while.
Yeah, it's even worse. But yeah, it was my first run at GDQ. I was really excited and really shaky. But you got also bad RNG, but it's just the way the game works. But yeah, that was a really cool rematch.
Yeah,
well, you heard it here, folks. If you want to see some really bad RNG, go speedrun LADX. That is the moral of the story today.
LADX tournament actually coming up soon, right? Or at least like within the next couple of months or so.
Oh, very cool.
Also here on Speed Gaming.
Yeah.
Also going to be here on Speed Gaming starting at July, starting on July, first week of July. 100% tournament this time, so it's going to be exciting.
Nice. I won't be in it, but I'll be looking forward to commentating, hopefully. So.
Yeah.
Well, thanks both of you. Any closing thoughts? Anything else to say?
I think at least I pretty much got all of my thoughts out. Bamboo, GG once again. Thanks, dude.
Likewise.
Thanks for the race.
And thank you everybody for watching. I don't know what we have coming up next year. We may have another. I know that Andy and Jem are playing at 4. I think. Or there is a race at 4, so that may be also continuing here. So keep an eye out for that. And thank you everybody for watching Speed Gaming.